Yeah, this plaque again that is displayed, or as of 9 months ago when this video clip that we've shown came out, illustrates that it was displayed in the state capitol, stating Satan has a special place for you as a message to the governor. Contrast that, if you can, Dan, with Governor Bill Lee in Tennessee, where I now reside, who over a year ago called for a month of prayer and fasting to basically atone. And this was a very strong call. This wasn't just something he put out on X or on some social media platform. He basically coordinated this. There were like 8 or 10 key points he addressed in it. It wasn't a legislative act. They can't do that so much. But this was a very serious request that was really recognized, if you will, by the governorship here in Tennessee. Between the two, you've got this plaque, and it's the fact that the
Quite a
Democrat
contrast between
coalition of,
two, a tale of two governors.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, tale of two governors.
Yeah. One of
One,
them, God is going to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." The other one, Satan says, "I've made a home for you.
well,
Thank you for all you're doing because you're help bringing about my kingdom here on earth."
and, and,
Imagine
and
that.
and that's what I wanted you to address is, as you're talking about the old gods, so to speak, the false gods, the demons that are now rising up in different ways. They've always been there. Yes, we know. And I know there are people that will constantly say, oh, your time you think is worse than it. There's always times when it's been bad. And there have been bad times. There have been really bad times,
Yeah.
wars, diseases, famines. There's something unique about this right now. And that is that the images and the messages of good and bad are disseminated throughout the world in a matter of seconds because of our social media. And so many people have access to it in the privacy of their homes, in their cars, where it's not just adults anymore, even it's kids, young kids that can have access to the most horrible messages
Wicked,
out there,
wicked things. Yeah.
wicked stuff. And we've never had that before. The ease of access to this plethora of confusion and even diabolical messaging that's out there. And face it, it's easier. It's always easier to go the route of the world than it is to go the route of God. I mean, the whole passage in Kings of Elijah trying to hear God when he's in the cave. And the rocks are rent by the storms and the earth is shaking. And then he hears the still small voice. And I love that, the still small voice.
Yeah.
He covers his face and comes to the entrance of the cave. It's that interior something that God is always trying to do to all of us, that still small voice. Even all the great apps and podcasts like US Grace Force out there, and all the great books written by people like Dr. Dan Schneider, these are wonderful, hopefully by the grace of God, reach a lot of people in good ways, but they don't even take the place, do they, Dan, of the importance of the individual person sitting in that moment, listening to the still small voice of God speaking to their interior, to their heart. My heart is restless till it rests in you, as St. Augustine says. So, can you address a little bit of the fact that we've got these secular leaders who are either recognizing God, as Governor Bill Lee does in Tennessee, or as an example that this plaque displayed I guess it's got to be the acceptance of the governor of Minnesota, and how that relates to, again, these false gods that are rising up more, the access to these false gods, and the importance of us ultimately all striving to hear the still small voice, which is never going to go away. I don't think God's ever going to take that need away, that we listen to the still small voice.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Thoughts?
it's fantastic. Elijah, if you look at the First Kings and Second Kings and the fall of Israel and Jerusalem in the Old Testament, Elijah and Elisha, the two prophets, the two great prophets, and their lives battling against evil. So before Elijah goes and he hears God, right? Not in the earthquake, not in the fire or the wind. This I like the Spanish translation, the la brisa suave, this smooth breeze, a little
Suave.
light breeze. But what did he just come from? Doing battle with the prophets of Baal. Baal, the spirit of impurity. This is one of the old gods that's coming back. And so this demon of impurity is what lowers the shield, and this is what's infiltrated in. And so we see this in now being initiated by governments, by state and the federal government. Some of it's being reversed, thanks be to God. And so we see these two, and it's again, it goes back to the authority structure, which is the essence of blessing and curse. When I talk about generational curse, there's active curses that Satanists do, okay, that has preternatural. There's three types of curses without getting digressing too much, but you have you have natural curses. Somebody yells at you and says something evil to you. There's no preternatural agency or efficacy. You have active satanic curses and occult curses that have preternatural activity, that are a mockery of the Catholic faith and the Catholic sacramentals and the holy sacrifice of the Mass. But then you have this third category of curse, but understood as the privation of the protection and the provision that comes with blessing. Pope Benedict tied it to Jesus on the Sea of Tiberias. Do you love me? Feed my lambs, tend my sheep. Now he's talking to Peter, the first pope. But that same authority structure also applies to government officials and those in an office of authority, even in civil and natural law. You have a twofold obligation to provide and to protect, to tend, or to feed and to tend. Feed my lambs, tend my sheep. And so a curse is nothing other than, in this sense, nothing other than the privation of the protection and provision which comes with blessing. You have one governor providing provision and protection spiritually to his populace through blessing. And then you have another governor that is withdrawing the blessing and allowing this privation of provision and protection. And we see what that privation
fomenting
looks like in Minnesota. It looks like chaos,
Yeah.
anarchy, because that's what the demon is. The demon is an agent of discord. That's what he does. He creates chaos,
fomenting discord, right?
fomenting discord.
Yeah.